Good evening and welcome to the
Recording in progress.
November 6th, 2025 Ways and Means Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Gold,
Here.
Alderman Gould,
Here.
Alderman Erger,
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here. Next up is approval or amendment of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, it will be so approved. Next is an opportunity for citizen comment. So this is a chance for people to talk about anything related to Ways and Means. I don't see anyone in the chamber. It doesn't look like there's
And we don't have any online.
Okay, great. Moving on to report of committee chair and alderman. I have one item. We have been meeting a lot with the Ways and Means Committee, and so we have decided to not have a meeting in December. And we will come back in January, and please check your emails for dates because our meeting is scheduled for January 1st, and we will not be here that night. So check your calendar, and we'll set the meeting a week or two later in January. Alderwoman Goad.
No report.
Alderman Gould,
No report.
and Alderman Erger.
No report.
Under City Administrator Report, just a reminder about the budget. We will wrap things up tonight with Police and Fire. It will go for public hearing and first reading on the November 17th meeting, Board of Aldermen meeting, and we'll hopefully approve it on December the 1st. And now we are at the point of the Citizen Budget Forum. So this is yet another opportunity for citizens to come and talk about the budget for 2026 and offer suggestions. And since there were not any citizens for the general comments, I don't think there'll be anyone now, but we do give everyone that opportunity. That takes us to department reports, which there are none. Consent agenda, we have the minutes from the October 28th meeting. Were there any changes to the agenda? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And no one opposed. Ayes have it. Old business, the budget. So it looks like Chief Cottrell's moving, so it looks like we're starting with fire.
Right, good evening.
Thank-
And in tonight's presentation, I just provide some highlights based on what's in the budget book. Please stop me at any point and we'll answer all questions. So mission and vision statements for the fire department remain the same. Our mission is providing excellence through service. Share that mission daily with all personnel. To highlight a few accomplishments for this current year, we did have the promotion of lieutenant and an engineer. We replaced and upgraded thermal imaging capabilities, and that was a neat project because of advancements in technology. Now every riding position, every firefighter has a thermal imaging camera on them, and we did it for about half the price that we originally had budgeted. So it was a very successful program that helps all of our firefighters. We did replace and upgrade cardiac equipment and the capabilities with such, and that was 100% funded through the state of Missouri. And that was our last ARPA grant that we have received with the state of Missouri. We launched a mobile application for our medical protocols with Washington University. So our partnership with them began last year, very successful beginning, but they did not have a mobile application for our medics to quickly look up medications or scenarios, just the directives. So we have that implemented now. That was a lot of legwork on some of our personnel to get that going. All radio equipment has been replaced and is upgraded to the latest technology on Motorola, and which is directed by St. Louis County Emergency Communications. We did begin construction of the fire training facility. That is progressing nicely. We've provided a few reports in our weekly department updates. And we are currently still in process of procuring all loose equipment for the new fire engine. We placed an additional order today for equipment, and we look to complete that. We tried completing it last week, couple little hurdles, but we should have everything ordered by next Friday. That is our goal. So the highlight of goals and objectives for next year. The big one is let's get this fire engine in here. We're quickly approaching 4 years from the time we signed that agreement. So we are excited to get this in here. Construction on the truck actually began yesterday. So on Fridays, starting next Friday, we will start receiving weekly updates on the progress of that construction. We will replace all PPE for personnel, and that does include the ballistic protection. This year, we do order PPE, the turnout coats and pants, every 5 years because they have a 10-year life expectancy. And so after 5 years, all personnel have 2 sets of gear that we rotate. So once it reached 10 years of service, it is discarded, and then we replace. The ballistic protection, very similar for the ballistic vest and the helmets. Those are a 5-year rotation. We did delay the helmets because of the use, frankly, but the vest, we're not delaying that. We do intend to complete the construction of the training facility. That should be completed May at some point, and we anticipate performing drills, perhaps not burns just yet, but in the month of June. And so we are completing our agreement with West County now, and I believe all crews have completed their sessions for this calendar year, so our equipment will not be going there on a regular basis any longer. It will all occur at Shrewsbury beginning next summer. We do intend to launch fire department scheduling software. I know that a question about that was brought up. This is fire department specific, and this is launching new technology to allow our people to not only track time, but receive updates, know when open shifts may be available, know if somebody is needing off, that they can fill that shift. It is a communication tool, but also an administrative tool to help us with our scheduling. The next item kind of coincides because multiple vendors offer both. It is to launch an inventory management software. Again, it's to transfer that from paper documents to applications, and we're ordering our consumables. So when I say inventory, that is meant from even our capital purchases down to our consumables, everything that we use within the organization. Complete the replacement and upgrade of mobile data terminals inside our department apparatus. That is a big increase within the IT budget that has been, we worked on it in this fiscal year for 2 pieces of apparatus, and then we will do 2 additional next year. Moving the mobile data terminals to a Windows-based device does enhance our communications with dispatch. We have better views of what they see, and they're able to share better information with our people. Currently, on an iPad, because it goes through an application not written by Motorola, we cannot see hydrant locations, for an example. If we go to routing on the iPad, it completely takes you to another screen and you lose all dispatch information. So the Windows-based device eliminates those hurdles and does provide a better system for our personnel to see. Renew the fire department strategic plan. So our plan was rolled out to run through the end of this year. And so with the department turnover, it's time anyways to renew that, revisit our values, and update the goals and objectives of the department. We are proud to say we've accomplished a lot in that strategic plan. There's items perhaps that will continue to remain in the plan moving forward, but that will be revisited in fiscal year 26. And then we did reduce our total response time metric for all of our personnel, and that's based off the prior 3 years' data. And we are proud of our response times. We are proud that our people take this very seriously. And what we're tracking here is the time someone calls 911 till our units arrive on scene for Brentwood calls. So I'm not tracking what we do mutual aid. These are only Brentwood calls. And the presentation we did a couple meetings ago for the Board of Aldermen, it truly makes a difference. So highlights of our expenditures, our staffing levels remain the same. This category does remain flat because of the hiring of the 5 new employees. So they're at a lower rate than the more senior employees. So that kind of gives us a little balance there. And similar to the employee benefits, just reduction of the number of people we're covering that they don't have families, and we're not providing that coverage. The critical illness pool, I have a slide in here on that. I'm happy to report that's going exceedingly well. And as such, the rates are not changing on the critical illness pool. So a tremendous benefit for our employees. The educational benefit, we got some tremendous relief from the state of Missouri on this. They passed a retention education incentive. And so for employees that meet criteria, they are able to apply for a grant through the Department of Public Safety to attend college up to a bachelor's degree. I believe the time of service is at least 6 years of service. So once they reach that, then they qualify for this. So I signed a form yesterday. I have an employee that applied for this program. So this is a great opportunity and provides relief to the city. We still do have one employee pursuing his master's degree. In fact, he just started this fall. Travel and meetings, it's just a slight increase based on inflation, and similar with the fuel. Miscellaneous contractual, we're capturing the increase on that technology pieces that I talked about earlier, the staffing and the inventory. And in addition to regular market increases, I did receive an invoice for our Code Red, the emergency notification, last week, and that has now increased over $9,000 annually. So we're just capturing these increases in here. This one is different to report, is the decrease in training. And this is a one-time decrease because the training group had money that we use for contingency for the training tower out of our operational. So we're transferring that from operation and applying it to the capital. So it's a one-time offset, so it will increase again in 27, but for 26, we do have some relief. Clothing allowance, that was noted as, increase for all uniform personnel up to $1,000 annually. That's broken out over 2 payments. The clothing allowance, I'm gonna make sure I try to be clear on here. Clothing allowance is to purchase and maintain our uniforms. Uniform purchase is this is when we hire a new employee, this is how we outfit them, and which can cost more than $10,000 now because of the turnout gear. Everyone's getting turnout gear next year, even if by chance we lose an individual, that all the vehicle or PPE replacement will come out of the capital fund, not this uniform. So it's again kind of a one-year offset of that. And then supplies, materials, we're just tracking on market increases on that. The report from the critical illness pool, I pulled this from their most recent meeting, and I had a verbal update, but it wasn't recorded as such. Somebody get water? No, it's okay. Give her just a minute. Good. I would rather catch our breath than spring into action, so this is good. So the update from the critical illness pool, at their last meeting, 2025, they are up to 129 members, 4,900 active firefighters covered. They do state now that they are over 5,000 individual firefighters. I reported on this last year. We were at, I believe, 36 agency members. So it has grown tremendously. It's doing well. So the total claims, near $1 million. I know the fund is over $12 million. And almost all of that has been from the state of Missouri. The program expanded to include behavioral health. Again, that was 100% funded by the state of Missouri. They launched a new mobile application for all firefighters that they can connect straight from the station to a mental health expert if needed, even while on duty. Critical illness pool this year did transition, I believe it occurred in July, to the new third-party administrator, which I believe we are familiar with, Thomas McGee Group. And again, there's no increase in the premiums for the upcoming year. Now I'll jump to the capital expenditures that we have proposed for the fire department. The first is to complete the fire training facility. It remains on budget. There was concern over soils, and we had no overages there, so we are doing well. The concrete is poured, and at this point, we're truly waiting on that structure to be completed and assembled on site. You have the support vehicle inserted. I know I had that last year. We're bringing that forward again. I try to be clear. It's more than a fire marshal vehicle. Yes, the fire marshal will be using this, but it truly is a support vehicle to the department for many factors. To towing the boat on a regular basis, especially at nighttime if the assistant chief and I are not present. Other needs of the department, perhaps taking firefighters to training, our drug screens, whatever the case might be on that. And the $40,000 does include all proposed all upfitting charges. So we already have a radio for it and whatnot. The PPE replacement again includes the turnout gear at $150,000. There was the numbers for vests and helmets were transposed in the book, so the vests are more than the helmets. That correction in that will be corrected in the final draft. And then the new fire engine. It will be delivered after the first of the year. I know finance has worked with those monies and is prepared. I hope it's in February, but time will tell. Questions? No.
Apologies. I do have some questions. I'll start, if that's okay. So the vehicle that the truck would be replacing, what is the city, are we selling that vehicle? What's going to happen to that vehicle?
It would be sold as surplus equipment. It has failed the inspection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And then my other question is about the, we had a discussion at some point about pulling the dollars that go to ECDC from the fire department and putting them in the fire budget. This is probably maybe more of a question for Michelle. Is that in here? Is that in miscellaneous contractual? Is it in the budget? Michelle's shaking her head behind you, so maybe we can let her come.
Yeah, we did some allocation to the fire department for miscellaneous contractual for the ECDC costs. They are minimal in compared to what the police has.
I knew it was minimal, but it just seems fair to have it by department.
Might
So.
increase that it has your market value increases, but also had those costs contained as well.
Great. Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Are there other questions from other members of the committee? Okay. No?
We answered them all beforehand, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're moving to police.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the police department's version of our budget 2026. And like everybody else, we were going to start with the advance on this thing, Joseph. Just pop it, okay. So I was going to start with the goals of the department going into 26. And the first item on that list you see is a succession plan. And we continue to do this each year, but our transition as we look to the next few years in the police department is, I think, is really at a vital time because we promoted 2 lieutenants who are learning the job of being commanders. And we have a new major who's in charge of administration at this point, and Major Simpson who's in charge of the policing side. So all of those pieces are integral as we go into 2026, that we cross-train these folks, that they are capable of doing each other's jobs in the event somebody goes down. The second one that you see on that list of the goals is this continued process of buying radios. We tried to chunk the radios out over a few years to try and keep the shock of the cost of these things down. They're running, $7,000-8,000 per handheld radio, and we obviously have more than the fire side did. So our costs were right around $350,000 for new radios. It was quite extensive. So luckily, though, Major Sullivan wrote a grant application through the Blue Shield process, and we were able to get some radios. So that process is going to continue, and I think the plan is Joe's going to write to that grant again and try and get some more radios as we go forward. The third one that you see on that list, the business park and school checks, always high on the list of goals to protect our, particularly our schools and parks. But one of the things that we look at as we go into 26 is what the success is going to be of having a supervisor implemented in that role, and how both the traffic and the park protection and our school checks are really going to be successful. So we'll be monitoring that very closely as we go through next year. In our goals and objectives, you see the Officer Safety Training Program. That's been implemented here since 2018. I believe all of you have know what that is, but we would like to put that on steroids going into 2026. And by infusing a very talented group of people that have their own company to do that with us, and we're going to use asset forfeiture to pay for their services. We really think that it's going to augment that training and make it better next year. The rest of these things are pretty self-explanatory. As you see, we only have 1 vehicle listed on next year for outfitting for our department. Accomplishments for 2025, there's a couple, I won't go through all of these, but I did want to hit on a couple of them. The new body-worn camera system has proven to be very reliable and a successful implementation so far. You may remember that the board approved this. It was quite expensive, but it offers a lot of upgrades and security for our police officers and for the community. Thus far, I'm very happy with the selection of the product that we have. I think the police officers are comfortable with it at this point, and it's performing well. So as we switch into 26 from 25, that new system has been a nice upgrade for us. We also in 25 replaced our duty pistols with the red dot sight weapons. We tried to familiarize the board with those in our day at the range. That's one of the reasons that we asked you to do that, was so that you would have a feel or an understanding what the value of that new system is. Just about a 40% increase across the board in police officers in accuracy using that weapon system. So we're very glad to have it. I think it's going to work out well for us.
Even novices can be accurate with that with the red
Some
dot.
people are very accurate with it. Ronnie mentioned the new scheduling system. We also did that in 2025. Quite frankly, we always struggle with the schedule on the policing side because it fluctuates so much. So now with the app on our phones, we can look at it, and I use it every day. We look at it every day to be able to change and adjust, and put people in and out, and it gives us a much better idea of, and accountability of who's working day to day. So that's helped us. You see the promotions that are on there. That includes we asked Bola to make a 5th corporal, and she agreed to do that based on my recommendation. And thus far, Brian Hopler's done a great job doing that. So I think that's something that we can include in our success from 25. The Blue Shield program, we talked about that. Depending on how the state of Missouri funds that, we'll continue to aggressively look at funding for more grant opportunities through that program. We had a line increase, a slight one on, and it's on the next screen here, along with the Regis costs that we have. We've been asked to include a prosecuting attorney's management system. This is actually through our courts, so this allows Josh to be able to immediately link up with our prosecuting attorneys and be able to find out what case adjudications come down the line quicker and be able to do his job better and easier. So we've included it in our budget for the 26. We wanted to mention in the asset forfeiture fund, that group that's going to help us with our officer safety training is included in this. So this will be quarterly training where this unit comes out and helps us. We will still participate, the command staff will, but it's 4 times each officer throughout the year. So it's a lot of training. They do multiple role play trainings when they do it. They're also going to do active shooter training for us. They're going to do active building searches for us. And we're going to try and infuse some training with other cities close to us with this. Webster Groves is buying this package, and other cities are considering it as well. So as they take on training for these other cities, we will practice response to a school shooting, things like that. So obviously, if something horrible kicks off, we will all be going in together, and we like to practice that. Listed in our capital items, you see the men's locker room. That building that we're in is over 20 years old, and the showers are gross, and they need to be changed out. So, we will hope to do that in the capital items. You see in there, though, that the 7,500 plus is coming out of our asset forfeiture. In the asset forfeiture guidelines and rules from the federal government, we're not allowed to pay for the installation, but we can pay for the materials. So that's why that's separated in that manner. And then that next item, it kind of explains to you how we had broke down the purchase of the handheld radios for the police department, and includes a grant that I told you that Joe wrote. So I think that slide is pretty self-explanatory. As you look towards 27, we will finish out the purchase of those radios. So, and then we have the 1 patrol vehicle for going into next year. It's going to replace a dated 2020 Ford Explorer that did not pass the tests. That's all I had. Joe and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you if you'd like.
I just have 2. First, same question that I asked Chief Cottrell about the replaced vehicle. Is the plan to sell the vehicle that we're replacing?
Yes, ma'am. We always put our cars on the go sell list.
Right. And then my second question is about training. So first of all, I applaud you for the training that you've done in the past and for doing training. And clearly, we've made an investment in the fire department with training, and I'm glad to see that you're doing enhanced training. But I noticed that there's a big bump next year, but it goes back down in future years. Is this a one-time thing, or is this something you want to do next year and you're going to try to figure out how to make it work in future years?
Yeah, so it comes out of the asset forfeiture portion of what we're doing anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think if you look at the asset forfeiture future, I think that's on the bottom list of what you're looking at. Honestly, this is going to be an evaluation process for us in 26. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're going to look at this and see, determine the value of it. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing it. We didn't think it had high value, but we want to look at it and see how it is.
Great. Thank you. Other questions from other committee members?
I guess I just have a follow-up on Alderwoman Tice's. So when I look at the itemization of the description under training on page 149, the training dollars says it's 25,000, but then when you look at the budget report statement, am I looking at this incorrect, that it's 40,000 in the proposed budget line for 2026? I'm sorry, it's
154.
154.
Catch up with you.
And if, I mean, maybe it's just not recorded right in the statement, or,
Line 64.
yeah, line, um,
64.
that could be the
6240.
asset forfeiture.
I think that's what that is, as you're looking at the,
So I'm looking
So
at line item 10-221 -6240.
that's the asset forfeiture one. So what we do is, there are actually two different training budgets because asset forfeiture money
Okay.
is separate. So, in years gone by, after discussing this in our meetings with Bola and Michelle, we've been putting asset forfeiture money into those codes to be able to use if we need it. But there's also one in our regular budget for training.
Okay, got it.
It's a little
Oh,
confusing
yeah,
when
I
you
see
look at
that,
it.
I see
Yeah.
that. Now, thank you. That's where I was getting confused. I was like, wait a second.
It is a little confusing because you're looking at double
Yeah, all
line items for the same thing.
right, that clears it up. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Alderwoman Goode?
First, thank you for your very nice responses.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
want to just call out on page 145 your violent crime projections?
Right.
The 30% drop? And did you budget for a cake if you're successful in that? Not budget, I will bake you a cake. Drop our crime rate 30%.
You're looking at what, 145, is that what you said?
145,
Oh,
table
yeah,
2, line 1, crimes, group A, violent crimes, the 30% drop projections.
So these are obviously projections based on trends, and the trend over the last 2 years, really, but really this year, is that in particular our violent crime has gone down, and that's a condition that we're seeing really throughout St. Louis. But Brentwood's experienced it as well, and there are several reasons for it. But it's really tied to nighttime car crime, which drives some of the violent crime that we see. And I think that area-wide, including us in Brentwood, we've done a good job trying to affect that. Doesn't mean it can't come back or we couldn't have an incident, but that's why the projections seem to be trending down.
Very excited about that, and if you didn't budget a cake and you hit that, call me, I will bake you a cake for that number. That is
I'll eat it if you
a
make it.
A 30% drop in violent crimes would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So-
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for all your other answers
Thanks.
in advance.
Other questions? And I failed to ask the two elected officials in the room if they had questions on fire. Do you have questions on fire, for fire or police? Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the budget, unless there are any other questions from anyone?
I was going to ask.
Oh, yes, please do.
Two very high-level questions. One, just making sure, when I look back on page 26 and 35 for the overall budget, we've got a fully balanced budget with a slight contribution to our reserves.
That is correct.
And this also includes our full payments for all of our bonds with Brentwood Bank.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. With that, the chair would entertain a motion to present the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget to the Board of Aldermen for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I guess, do we need do a roll call vote for this?
Alderwoman Goode,
Yes?
Alderman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Erger,
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes. So thanks to everyone, staff, especially for the tremendous work that went into getting us this far. We're not quite over the finish line, but we're really close. So thanks to all. That takes us to new business, and there is one item, an amendment to the city's financial policies and procedure manual. So I think is that Michelle?
Want me to do it?
Oh, it's Bola. Okay. Your name's on the agenda.
My name is on the agenda?
No,
Oh,
Michelle Depue's name is on the agenda, so.
So we piggybacked on using contractors, vendors that had been, that had gone through the process of, we piggybacked on using contractors that MoDOT had approved for different projects. And in the past, when we have done that, we believe that they have gone through their purchasing policy requirements, and those contractors or vendors have met those requirements, so there was no need for the city to duplicate that effort. So when their auditors reviewed their work, they said that the city didn't do its independent verification of the background of those contractors, and that going forward, we needed to do that. So we worked with the city attorney, and here for your consideration is amended language that says going forward, the city will do its own suspension and debarment assessment on all construction projects. So that's what this is.
That seems pretty straightforward. So clearly, I guess this would be if we did another joint project like along Manchester Road with MoDOT, that kind.
Right.
Are there other things on the horizon that you anticipate in the next year or so, us needing to use these new procedures?
Well, there is the MSD Project Clear, and if they're going to be working, which they are, in the neighborhood, if there's a request to speed up a stormwater project by, partnering with them to accomplish it, we would have to use their contractor, hopefully, so then this covers us for next time we would do that. We would do our own evaluation, background check of those vendors as well. So I think there's a possibility for that to come up here in the immediate future.
Okay, great. Are there other questions? Alderman Gould?
And when we do that evaluation, do we need to contract with other partners to do the evaluation, or is that just
We
internal
would do it
staff?
ourselves.
All right,
It's
so
really about
minimal-
contacting references.
So it's not any really hard costs
No.
of,
It's what we do now,
it's, yeah, okay,
right.
awesome, thank you.
Other questions? So are you looking for a recommendation to send this on to the board? So the chair would entertain a motion to amend the city's fiscal financial policies and procedure manuals regarding a process to conduct or perform suspension and debarment assessments on construction projects with other governmental or intergovernmental partners. The
Second?
motion and a second. Can we do a roll call on this, or do you want? Okay. So all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh, wait, roll call.
We're gonna do a roll call.
Oh, roll call. Oh, sorry. Okay.
And then Gould.
Okay, we're going to do a roll call. So,
Alderwoman Gould.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderman Erger.
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice.
yes. Motion passes. That takes us to our second opportunity for citizen comments, and doesn't look like anyone has come in the room and no one online. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.